A CEO unexpectedly steps down. A 10-year relationship splinters. A steel bridge gives way under its own weight. A nation divides along partisan lines. Traditional models label these events as breakdowns or failures. In this view, stress is a strictly destructive force to be avoided or managed. The forging framework identifies this moment as a coherence transition. It is the specific process of moving a fragmented system into a more integrated state. For a complex system to evolve, extreme pressure is the required physical mechanism. It forces the structure to confront its internal contradictions and consolidate. Look at this schematic of a timber house taking a massive storm. The wind seems to destroy it, but actually pushes loose beams into their sockets, realigning the architecture. The cold then contracts the wood, clamping joints into a hardened fortress. The house utilized the storm as its carpenter. He emerged from the weather with its frame realigned and its joints tightened by the very forces that threatened to ruin it. We map this using a systemic stress equation. Coherence, C, balances against weights of effective stress, SF, and integration effort, A int. If stress outpaces resilience, the structure fractures, but matching stress with integration effort forges a higher coherent state, C star. Because these variables of stress and integration are constant, the same mechanical laws apply to a person in recovery, a company restructuring, or a nation stabilizing. The process begins with accumulation. Tension builds silently under the surface until stage 2, the fracture. Here, symptoms like institutional mistrust and conflict become visible. This leads to stage 3, structural exposure. Old narratives fail. The system's deepest flaws are laid completely bare, and existing ways of compensating no longer work. Imagine a dull gray stone by a river. Under intense heat, the outer crust peels back, burning away dirt to reveal glowing, molten iron inside. During structural exposure, the system's core strength is not missing, it is simply buried under noise. Heat is required to separate the metal from the stone. In stage 4, the forge, the system passes through 12 loops. It begins internally, confronting shame, guilt, and fear for self-assessment. After these corrections, the system hits Reset A, a mandatory period of reflection and recalibration. We see this in the Metalworker's parable. Even the strongest smith must leave the volcano and sit by a cool stream. Without this cooling phase, the system becomes ash. Once stabilized, the system enters the final external loops. It applies its new coherence outward, executing through justice, compassion, and temperance. This 12-loop cycle is a mechanical sequence of operational tasks. It describes the objective steps required to stabilize any complex entity under pressure. We arrive at stage 5, stabilization. The system reaches its new target equilibrium, a more resilient version of itself. The system utilized the pressure of the crisis to restructure its internal operations. It emerges more accurate and sustainable because it passed through the furnace. By quantifying these variables, analysts can map a system's progress and forecast whether it will collapse or stabilize. It allows us to audit democracies and businesses by measuring their integration capacity against their current stress. A young apprentice once trembled as sparks flew from the glowing steel, believing the fire hated him. His master explained that the fire does not hate, it simply cannot lie. It burns away what cannot remain and softens what must be shaped. When we find ourselves in the furnace, the intense heat provides absolute clarity. It reveals exactly what is structural and what is merely debris. Whether you are an individual navigating a personal crisis or a society under extreme pressure, you are moving through a predictable physics. You are not failing, you are forging.